Now, the Duke of Cambridge, Prince William, will visit Dubai next month and join events showcasing talent from across the UK.
Prince William plans to support relations overseas at Expo 2020 Dubai, which is being temporarily taken over by UK National Day 2020. Yeah. I guess it must have been delayed.
Well, I suppose so, yeah. Why didn't they just call it 2022, though?
I think so, wouldn't you?
Joining us now to look at the work that the Duke is doing, as well as catching up on all the latest royal gossip, is biographer and royal commentator Angela Levin, who's with us. Hi there, Angela.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello. Lovely to see you again. It's interesting the way they're carving up the responsibilities now, isn't it? Things the Queen might have done a few years ago are very clearly being delegated. How do you think they're doing it between Prince Charles and Prince William?
Well, I think the trip to Dubai for Prince William is absolutely perfect because in 2018 he went to Israel and Jordan, which is a diplomatic sort of minefield. And he did very well. He was charming. He met with lots of young people. He cracked jokes. He was very regal. And I think he did very well there. So this is an extension of that, isn't it? And he also can do his Earthshot. If you remember that he is trying very hard to work for clearing the air and making us all much healthier. And he has got 5 million to spend next year on people who are doing a project that will help the climate change. And so he can meet people there who are young and who are trying to do this. So it sort of fits him very well. Of course, Prince Charles, all his adult life, he's campaigned for climate change and things, but he's got a massive amount on his plate because he's taken the majority of what the Queen would do onto his shoulders. And so I think it works very well indeed.
But how much, Angela, is this all reliant on Prince William as an individual, and how much is he advised by those people within the firm? I mean, is he like a minister with all his advisors around him telling him what to do and say?
Well, he's got quite strong views himself. And don't forget, he's been around all this for years. I think he's now really keen to do the best he can for the country, for the world, and also for the economy. Sheikh Mohammed, who rules Dubai, has said he wants to invest 12 billion pounds into our economy, and my goodness, we can do with that very well. So they think Prince William will charm him, and he obviously would have advisors and people who would do a lot of research on his behalf and give him a lot to read. It's a bit like studying for an exam, I suppose. You know, you read it through and again and again and again, and you've got advisors to tell you. But he's his own person. We've seen that for a long time now. He's got the engagements that he really wants to do. When he was younger, he got fed up with sort of the idea of cutting ribbon and just coming and saying hello and being on the top of a news letter page. But with Catherine by his side, they've come up with great ideas, and this has stimulated him and made him feel ready to talk to anyone about anything.
They've clearly decided, haven't they, that given the line of succession, that Prince Charles obviously will be the next king, and then Prince William. They've decided that royal duties are now basically between those three, aren't they, the Queen and those two?
Yes, and I think the Queen is backing down as well, because when there's a major decision to be made, Prince Charles is immediately consulted, and then they bring in William to have his view. So he is really contributing an enormous amount. I mean, this was with Prince Andrew and also Prince Harry. So it's personnel within the royal family, as well as actually how to cope with building back again. Don't forget, they haven't been able to go anywhere for 2 years because of the pandemic. So they've got to sort of rebuild how they do these foreign trips. I mean, he'll be going to America with Catherine next year, similarly for the Earthshot Prize. But that's a tricky one because they need to get the Americans on his side and on the royal family side, because Harry and Meghan are doing quite well at making the Americans believe that everything they say about the rotten royal family in the UK is true. So he's got, heavy duties coming along towards him. And the whole thing is that with a family, they have to work out when it suits them. Holidays and school holidays, whether you take them, whether you don't. It's all very complicated, but I think that he is there to show a more modern face, but Prince Charles has got the experience. So it's an ideal combination, really. And I don't think they're jealous of each other. I think they're working well together, and I think that will help the country and the royal family.
It's interesting. He also shows a very compassionate side as well. And it was lovely, this clip that's gone viral now, Angela, of Prince William with that young boy who lost his mum and being able to offer some comfort.
Oh, I had tears in my eyes, to be honest. The way he looked at him and said, it does get easier, I can tell you. Gosh, it was just so moving. And this boy, I thought, was so brave. Initially, when Catherine asked him questions, do you feel safe here? Do your friends understand what you're going through? And yeah. But then he softened up, and I think what Prince William said to him will linger in his mind. It was very brave to come on, but it was so compassionate, and that's William that we've got used to over the last few years, but wasn't there originally. And I think that that's due to a happy marriage and becoming a father and all that entails. And he's opened up and warmed up and doesn't mind saying things that I don't think he would have ever said, a few years ago.
Yeah, I think if you've been through a terrible tragedy like losing your mum, as this little boy did, a lot of people might say, we know how you feel, things will get better. That's one thing coming from somebody who's just sympathising. But when it comes from Prince William, who also lost his mother, and we know of that sort of tragedy, and we all cast our mind back, hearing it from him really does mean something, doesn't it?
Yes. Don't you think that the expression on his face, though, said it all as well? I think when people say, oh, you'll feel better, they don't have the feeling that comes from inside that shows on their face. But I think with William, you could look at him and you knew he was feeling totally for that little boy, because he'd had the same feeling and he'd had to fight it. So I think people can get annoyed if someone say, oh, you'll be fine, or don't worry. It's a sort of meaningless line on its own, but accompanied by the expression he had on his face, I thought it was deeply powerful.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people would, just about everyone would agree with you. Yeah. Angela Levin, really good to talk to you once again this morning. Thank you.